Peace, peace, peace. What's up, everybody? It's the Fez Dealer. We back with another YouTube video. I got my brother right here, the Eastside Mystic on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Sheikh Abdur Rahman. But yeah, we about to get into this book right here. Let me show you. Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba, Life Teachings and Poetry by Sheikh Sufi Ba. But like always, we're gonna start off with prayer. All right. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka nabadu wa iyaka nasta'in. Idina sirata mustaqim. Sirata latina yamtam alayhim. Ayam exubi alayhim. Wala dalin. Ameen. Barke Smisa, you 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 Barke Smisa. Subhanatu Muti wa Malakuti, Subhanatu Izati wa Jabaruti, Subhanahu Hayu Ladila Yamutu, Sabuhum, Kadusum, Rabuhum, Rabo Malaika Tahiwaru. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, Al-Fatihi lima uglika, wa Khatimi lima sabaka, Nasir al-Haqi bil-Haq, wa Hadi ala Siratika Mustaqim, wa ala alihi haqqa qadrihi wa miqdarihi al-azim. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka innaka minal zalimin. Barke shaky before, 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 barke shaky before. Okay. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka nabadu wa iyaka nasta'in. Idina sirata mustaqim. Sirata latina yamta alayhim. Qayum exubi alayhim. Wala dalin. Ameen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka nabadu wa iyaka nasta'in. Idina sirata mustaqim. Sirat Halatina Yamta Alayhim, Gayom Exubi Alayhim, Wala Dalin, Ameen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka Nasta'in, Iyaka Nabadu wa Iyaka Nasta'in, Idina Sirata Mustaqim, Sirata Latina Yamta Alayhim, Gayom Exubi Alayhim, Wala Dalin, Ameen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka nabadu wa iyaka nasta'in. Idina sirata mustaqim. Sirata latina yamtum alayhim. Gayum exubi alayhim. Wala dalin. Ameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Al-Fatihi lima uglika wa khatimi lima sabaka. Nasir al-Haqi bil-Haq wa hadi ala siratika mustaqim. Wa ala alihi haqqa qadrihi wa miqdarihi al-azim. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, 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 Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Latif, Ya Aziz, 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 Ya Latif, Ya Aziz. Yo Hayo Ya Qayyum, 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 Ya Hayyu 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 Ya Qayyum. Ya Wadud, Ya Allah, 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 Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, al-Fatihi lima uglika, wa katimi lima sabaka, Nasiru haqi bil haq, wa hadi ila siratika mustaqim, wa ala alihi haqqa qadrihi, wa miqdarihi al-azim. Barke shaky before, 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 Barke shaky before. Yes, sir. We back.
Back.
As a YouTube, Cheikh Ahmadou Bamba. Life Teachers in Poetry, written by Sheikh Sufi Ba, none other.
I mean,
All right, so we're gonna start off with the introduction of this book. Bismillah. Several books about the life of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba in French and Arabic. Most of the books in French present his life from a social and political or economical point of view. They try to compare his life to what they have learned about mysticism from some Sufi books. Some of the books even try to separate Mohammedanism from Orthodox Islam. The French colonists who were against Islam wrote some of them. The books in Arabic about Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's life are very different from the books in French. His son Muhammad Bashir Mbaki wrote one of the best books in Arabic on his life. The name of the book is The Gifts of the Eternal One, Min, Minam el Baki el Kadim. There are other good books in Arabic written by Muhammad Lamin Diab. He was one of the disciples of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. His books are still in the form of manuscripts that have not been published. There are hundreds of extensive Arabic poems written by Arab Islamic scholars about Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. All of these books and documents can be found in the Library of Touba. The best material from the study of the life and teachings of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba would be his son's writings and poetry. Abdallah Fahmy, an Arabic disciple of Serene Salihu Mbaki, taught the information in this book to me in Tuba. Abdallah Fahmy was given the authorization of Serene Salihu Mbaki to translate the writings and poems of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba into French and English. During my fourth journey to Senegal, I spent most of my time at the house of my beloved Sheikh, Sheikh Betrul Douin in Tuba. This book was written in his house during the end of the holy month of Ramadan and the month of Shawwal, 1476 Hijra, or 1998 in the Gregorian calendar. It is not easy to write about the life of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba because his life and writings are so miraculous. The depths and meanings of his poetry and writings is only comprehensible to those that have true esoteric knowledge. The true essence of his poems cannot be conveyed in any other language other than their original Arabic. We tried to come as close as possible to the original meaning of his life, teachings, and poetry. And this is the introduction
I mean,
to Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, Life, Teachings, and Poetry by Sheikh Sufi Ba. Fire!
wow, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. And it reminds me of when Sheikh took a journey over there to Tuba and he was showing like the library where all the manuscripts are. And man, I was like, yo, it's a lot of writings there, man. Like you could actually go there and look at the original writings from Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. There's I forget how many thousands of like writings and like manuscripts is over there, but it was a lot, man. It just kept going. There was no end.
Wow. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi wa huwa aliyul latim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. All right. Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, Kadim Rasul, Life, Signs of the Divine. Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba is known by many names. His birth name is Ahmed ibn Muhammad ibn Habibullah ibn al Qahir. He is also known as Serene Tuba and Kadim Rasul. Serene Tuba means the Sheikh of Tuba. Kadim Rasul means the servant of the Prophet. He was born in 1270 Hijra, 1852 to 1853, in the city of Mbaki, Bola. His grandfather founded this city. His parents were from the Astaghfirullah for
I believe it's Tukulor.
Tukalor. I mean, thank you, brother. That
Yep,
is
I
your
believe I heard Sheikh say Tukulor.
Tukalor ethnic group. They moved to the Senegal. They moved to Senegal from Mauritania. His parents were descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, through his lineage of Sheikh Abdullah Qadari Jalani. His mother name is Mami Dara Balso. She is very famous in Senegal. During her lifetime, the Islamic scholar in Senegal recognized her as a Wali Kamal, perfect saint. She was known as Dara Tullah, Astaghfirullah for from
I believe you're correct, bro. I believe.
okay,
Yeah, I believe.
Amir, the protected of Allah. The Baalsu family was known as descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that had many Islamic scholars who exemplified purity. Serene's Tuba's father name in Wolof is Mar Anta Saleh. He was the highest advisor to the king, Qadi, in the district of Cairo. He had one of the most famous Islamic schools in his time. The Senegalese recognized him as one of the biggest alim Islamic scholars of his time. Serene Touba showed signs of sanctity at a very young age. His mother said that she did not feel her pregnancy. She said that she experienced no pain during the birth of Serene Touba. When he was a baby, he did not want to sleep in the same bed with his mother. When his parents were awake, they would find him sitting near the place where his father would normally pray. When his mother would take him to festive occasions, weddings or naming ceremonies, with music and dancing, he would cry so much that she had to take him back home. When she would leave the place of the occasion, she noticed that he would stop crying. Because of this, she stopped taking him to these types of events. When Serene Tuba was young, he would not play with the other children his age. He would not participate in their childhood games. His father and some other relatives began to think he was not normal. They thought that he had a psychological problem. His mother was the only one to recognize the high spiritual development of her son at a very young age. As he grew older, his father started to recognize his spiritual evolution. One day, the king asked Mo Antisali about his son. He told him that Serene Tuba had a high level of knowledge. The king asked him to call his son so he could test him. The king asked Serene Tuba some basic questions about the Holy Quran and told him to write the answers in Arabic. The king tried to give him a wooden tablet to write on from the place they were sitting. Serene Tuba would not write on the tablet. The king insisted that he write on the tablet. Serene Tuba refused to write on the tablet and told the king that he would go and bring a tablet from home to write on. This type of treatment from a young man outraged the king. He asked his father why he was behaving in this manner. Serene Tuba's father explained to the king that his son would never touch anything without knowing its proper owner. When he returned with his tablet from home, he answered all the questions of the king correctly. On another occasion, when Serene Tuba was still very young, the king gave him a beautiful horse. He noticed two people looking at him with anger. Serene Tuba went to the two men and asked why they were angry with him. They told him that the king had taken their horse without paying them for it. Serene Tuba sold the horse and gave them the money. When Serene Tuba was a student in his father's Islamic school, sometimes his father would let him teach his co-disciples. Serene Tuba condensed the knowledge from intensive books of fiqh, tawhid, theology, and spiritual education into poems that were easily to memorize. His father was amazed by the knowledge in these poems. He decided to use them in his school because they made it easier for the students to learn the knowledge. The poems are still used by Moorids today. The names of these, the name of three of these poems are The Gift of the Holy, which is Mawab el Qudus, The Precious Gem, Jawahar Nafs, The provision of the young. Tazawud Tazawud Sighar. The gift of the holy is on Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. There are two types of teaching on Tawheed. One type of teaching is esoteric, and the other type is esoteric. The poems contain the exoteric teachings on Tawheed according to scholarly methods. Ilm el Kalam. The provision of the young is on theology, Akida.
I mean,
I mean,
Serene Tuba said, I don't want that stolen horse. So bring it back. So where'd you get it from? I don't care if you're the king.
right.
I don't want it. You stole it. Give it back to the poor man.
Yes, that's amazing. That's amazing.
At a young age. You know, nowadays kids would be like, you got a tablet for me? Let me get that.
Let me get that. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. That's just go to show you, his who he was at a young age. Man.
And when they talk about like the French was documenting like a lot of his life and a lot of the things that was going on when they was trying to, colonize Senegal, West Africa. A lot of this stuff is still like preserved in France. Like they've written about him and the miraculous things that he's done. There was soldiers that wrote about their dealings with him and stuff like that. So if you really study and you could read Arabic, that's a big one because a lot of the writings are in Arabic or in French,
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to get a lot of this information a lot more readily than others who don't speak those languages. Because, like Sheikh said in the book, one of his sheikhs, Abdullah Farmi, was given the permission by his sheikh to translate all of this stuff from French and Arabic into English. So, I gotta really, talk on how big that is because, a lot of this information wouldn't even be readily available if it wasn't for Sheikh Abdullah Farmi and Sheikh Sufi. So I gotta
Absolutely.
I gotta put that plug in there.
Correct.
Fire!
Oh, young folk.
All right. So death of his father. In 1300 Hijra or 1882, More Anta Sali died. At his father's funeral, a friend of his father asked Serene Tuba to come and visit the king so that he could be the next Qadi or advisor. He answered them with these poetic verses. They tell me to come and work for the king and have many privileges and rewards. I only have ambition in religion knowledge. I put all my hope in Allah. I only have fear of Him. He gives me all that I need and saves me from all dangers. How do you expect me to put my hopes in those who are not able to provide for themselves? Serene Tuba continued to school. After a short time period, he let one of the other disciples run the school so that he could travel throughout Senegal and to Mauritania. In this time period, there was no country that had as many awaliya, sheikhs, and alims of exoteric and esoteric self knowledge of Mauritania. In Mauritania, he met sheikhs from the Tijani, Qadriya, and Shadiliya tarikats. When Serene Tuba returned to Senegal, he had obtained the secret of the weirds of the Tijani, Qadriya, and Shadiliya tarikats. He also obtained a vast amount of Sufi knowledge from the sheikhs and books in Mauritania that were not available in other parts of Africa. From this experience, he composed his monumental work, Masalinic Al Jenin, Pathway to Paradise. This book contains 1,562 poetic verses. It is a complete and comprehensive book on Tasawwuf, Sufism.
And again, he did this all as a young,
I know.
as a youngin.
Yeah, man. Like you he just saying like, he to Mauritania and all that because back then like Mauritania was was the biggest place for all the holy people, like all the holiest saints was in Mauritania. So he traveled over there and got all the weirds from all the different Sufi train schools of thought back
Yeah.
in that time period. So that in itself is big because us of disciples of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, us of disciples of uh Sheikh Sufi Ba, we understand the importance of a weird. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Me and the brother was talking prior to recording, and he has a weird that he's gotten from the Sheikh from sitting with the Sheikh that only for him. You know, he's not
Mm.
supposed to give it to nobody. It's only for him because it was given to him for him purposely because it's the medicine that he needs to cure, what I'm saying, his spiritual his spiritual needs. So for him to go and go to Mauritania and get the weirds of three different tarikats is big back in
Yeah.
that time period. I would imagine, in my opinion.
And I thought another amazing thing was answering in this poetic verse.
Mm.
They tell me to come work for the king for men and pay. Hey, and he's just like, hey, they can't even provide for themselves. what, what a
Fact,
what a profound thing to say,
fact, amazing. Yeah.
and it's just amazing.
You want me to come work for somebody who can't even take care of himself?
Get out of here.
You know? Imagine what that sound like over here in America.
Right.
That sound like that sound like us getting up every day going to work. No, because I've always thought that in the West, like the whole ideology of like getting up, waking up, working a 9 to 5, working for somebody else, making somebody else rich,
Hmm.
from traveling going like to Islamic countries, that's like not the American dream. You know what I'm saying? Like when they speak about the American dream,
Hmm.
working for the rest of your life 9 to 5, Monday through Friday is not it. You know what I'm saying? Like in my opinion,
It is not it.
it's not it. So I feel like a lot of that stuff is put in our everyday lives to keep us away from spiritual knowledge and spiritual
Absolutely.
elevation because they know the power that comes from that. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we try to get back to that as much as possible. Which is even why we was talking about doing like these type of videos because
Yes.
it's important to have a representation of these spiritual practices, teachings, and understandings for other people to maybe get some beneficial knowledge from.
Yes. Totally agree.
This book is really a short read. It's not really that big. You could read this book in one day, really. So we're not going to give you everything. This is just going to be part one. We'll have another episode to go over part two. But then the rest, you guys can go to Amazon and purchase this book. Or, like I said, you can contact our Sheikh, SheikhSufi at gmail.com, and he can give you a PDF version, or he might have a copy for you that he can sell to you personally. But they are available on Amazon. And like I said, I will leave the link in the description. Also, me and the brother have another episode, two part series called Waves from the Ocean, an introduction to the Sufi path, which I will also leave the description down below. And you could check those two part series videos out as well on my page. If you want to reach out to Sheikh Sufi because you're inquiring about Sufism or Bayat, which is the initiation into the Sufi tariqat, then you could reach out to him directly at sheikhsufi at gmail.com as well. Once again, it's been a blessing. Thank you for checking out the page. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Till two.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
Peace.